welcome to our LS Nav Web POS webinar. My name is Mattias Mattiasson. I'm a product director for LS Nav. Let's start with some history. LS Retail was created from a merger of a company called Landsteiner and Stringer, which then turned into LS Retail. Landsteiner had a product called Landsteiner Retail, or also known as POS. You can see a picture here on the top right. They were leading in that way that they had an add-in. Add-in created the buttons, so you could, with those add-in, you could select any color you pleased. Then InfoStore POS was created by Stringer, where you can see here below. They also could have any kind of color on a button, except you would have to choose for one of the 5 standard colors to replace it, meaning that you could have any color, but only totally of 5 colors on your buttons. This kind of shows the restraint that we had in the beginning of LS Nav POS Live. Then we went to LS Nav POS, which is a merger of these 2 solutions I talked about before, into LS Nav. When we merged this, we had the opportunity to go to pages. And when the pages came, which we'll call hereafter Windows POS, we have the ability to open up one big add-in, similar to the buttons that were in the POS, it's just for the full screen. This gave us the ability to cover the whole screen with a .NET add-in. This gave us the ability to put ultimate flexibility into the POS, which can be completely configured in the system to get the effect you want. Here you have 2 samples of 2 different POSes offered in our demo data. Next step we took is offer a mobile POS. This is an app running on iOS devices or Android. This gave us the ability to interact with the customer on the floor, give him information, take his order, even finalizing the order on the floor with the customer with, for example, a EFT cradle for the devices or component device for the payment. This device had a offline or online database, so it could register the transaction completely, but it would then speak to the NAV service to get a completely correct offers and prices and specific to that customer. And then we come to what we're going to talk about today, the LS Nav POS or the Web POS. What we have here is a POS interface, which is through the newest technology like HTML5, JavaScript. So what we have here is a browser interface which really well fits with web, cloud, and all of these new things that are the top things today. What we have here is that you have a new interface with the same business logic behind. So your investment in the changes of a business logic for the Windows POS are fully valid for the Web POS. So what we try to do is to offer the same functionality, the same look and feel as our first job, and protecting your investment in the business logic. So you'll get that in the Web POS. Let's look at the structure of the system. Of course, you have somewhere data. The data is stored in the SQL server. On top of that, or below that, we have a business logic. This is where all the business logic is run, and this is the same business logic both for the Windows POS and the Web POS. Then you will have the Windows POS talking to the service tier, and the Windows POS or the Windows client is a fat client, if you would call it that. It is chatty. It uses a lot of data communication between the client and the service tier. So it's very good for local area network within the store to a store server or standalone by itself. Done an excellent job for us through the years. Going into the cloud business and everything like that, we started looking at what do you want to do with that, and then we started looking at the Web POS. And what the Web POS does, it communicates to IaaS, Internet Information Server for Microsoft. So that is the communication layer from the Web POS to the IaaS, and IaaS then to the service tier. This gives an excellent load balancing and other features that come out of the box with this solution. Then when you have the Web POS, and the Web POS can be run within a browser by itself, or a component that you can is included inside, for example, an app. So you can be running an app with a browser inside. You won't know the difference. And as you can see here on these two pictures, you have the Windows POS on the left, Web POS on the right. It has the same components, same flexibility, same usability, and in both solutions. So it should not affect your business going, for example, from Windows to web. What you will gain is the ability to communicate over a wide area network, or, for example, online POS in a store to the cloud directly as online, which you're not available in the Windows POS. So you can utilize all the new stuff regarding wide area network and communication, all that technology. You might think, Web POS, now I need a POS that only talks to the cloud. That's not exactly true. Of course it talks to the cloud, but it still offers the same architecture you know for the Windows POS, where you can have a standalone POS, for example here on the left, where you have everything on the device, meaning that the POS can be completely standalone, do all the transactions. You have then full reliability, versatility on the POS. You can do the business at any time. On a device like this, we have then a Windows machine, SQL server, service tier, and IaaS server and browser, all on the same device, so it's self-sustaining. The second option is to have a store server. A store server really takes the SQL and the service tier IaaS on there. And this doesn't, the word server, it's more like a good PC. So that's enough for to run a store server. For example, scenario on the left, let's say this is a store that has old POS hardware. Not good enough for the newest clients, but what you can do here is that you could run a browser on it. So you could run a browser on older hardware and have a hardware station connecting to your peripherals. I'll talk about the hardware station in a minute. And the whole business logic is then running on the store server. So you can utilize existing hardware, but upgrade all your business logic and everything that comes with that. Or in your scenario where you have POSes in a store, but at top peak hours, you need more devices, or you want to interface with the customer. That's, for example, the tablet on the right, where you can add a tablet, for example, a 7-inch tablet, out on the floor with the customer, interacting with them with a full-blown functionality of a regular POS, as a browser, an iPad, for example. So these are two scenarios where you can use the Web POS to use older hardware, or give you the ability to add new technology hardware, which gives you more interaction or more flexibility than the old one. And then, of course, we have the third architecture with a central server. And my belief is this is the future. Don't ask me what year, but this is going to be future in the coming future. So even some retailers today, they want to have no software in the store. We can offer that. And in this case, you could have that, a browser on the POS and a hardware station I'm going to show you a little bit later. And you would always be online. And these retailers, they have then plan A, plan B, plan C for the communication lines, meaning that if A fails, B kicks in, giving them 100 or 110% uptime. So maybe the money goes a little bit into the lines, but you get then operation where it's low maintenance in the store software-wise. So we can offer you all of these, and you can mix and match them as this fits. Some areas like in town, the cities, you can have online. In the country, you might have a store server or completely standalone. Yours is the choice. You might ask, how do I connect all the peripheral devices like a scanner, line display, another printer, or for example, a drawer? We have here a hardware station. And one of the two flavors we have is a hardware station that is really a hardware itself. So for example, we have Epson Intelligent Printer. And you can see in the picture, it's the center of the picture. That is a printer that will print the slip, but it's also a server or a controller for the other devices. So you plug the scanner into this device, line display, this drawer and all that. And that would control the devices for you. This is, for example, a solution. If you want a store that does not have software, this would be it. You would then have, for example, a tablet with a web browser. You would have a printer like this in the store connected to your peripheral devices, meaning that you don't have a retail solution. You have a browser and a hardware. So this would be an excellent solution for that. The other solution we have is a hardware station that is a software. This is a service on our PC. So here, for example, you can use your existing hardware, so long as, of course, it talks POS, which is the communication layer to most retail devices. So you could, for example, have a PC in the store with this service on it. And then, for example, a tablet or a phone here solution could talk to that service and ask them what is the scanning input, or print out a slip, or show a customer the display, the price of a product on the display. So we have the ability, and this is the one you would use, for example, older POS going forward. So let's review a little bit. You have these two options to connect to the peripheral devices. The intelligent printer as a hardware, which gives you software-less store. Or you could use a Windows device with a service on it that could then communicate to the peripherals. And of course, the peripherals need to be plugged into this device in that sense. So we give these two possibilities, and in most cases, this fits your need. So let's look at the future a little bit. What we are currently working on regarding our LS Nav POS is we have new technology for LS Nav POS interface development. What does that mean? Is that we are adding to existing functionality the ability to create new panels that support processes. What does that mean? It means that, like you saw the picture before, we will take a smaller picture out of it, and this, for example, is a panel that will show a retail hierarchy, meaning that it will show the highest level in the tree. And this tree here is women, men's shoes, and accessories. And for example, if I press men's, I would then jump down to everything that is under the men's. And this is a process in that sense. It shows the hierarchy, and it's just data-driven. It takes the picture from the hierarchy and shows it. This is a little bit different what we have been doing. And what we're doing here, the ability to have pre-programmed processes, but still allowing you to customize it if needed. Of course, our goal is that this would not need customization, but of course, we will make that available for you. And this is built on a built on a HTML technology, which of course is very important for our cloud-based solution. So look at this. You have the hierarchy, showing the hierarchy, and in LS Nav we have this new retail hierarchy, so you can have multiple hierarchies. So you could press a button and show different hierarchies depending. For example, skiing products, soccer products, or just Christmas products. So you can have different hierarchies showing different length, different possibilities, and you drill down to it, and once you go far enough down, you end up having you end up being at the end of the branch, and you have the leaves, or in other words, the items. And we will have a part of this process a view for you to see items, and this will include, for example, here pictures of the items, some brief information, functions, for example, see, compare, or add to basket. And I want to point you on top here, you can see like a crumb or a path, home, man, and shirts. So you could, for example, press home, and it will go all the way back to the first level. But let's say we press the I, and then you would go into a predefined item card. And you can see this bottom left, or the middle on the left. You can see there's multiple pictures for this item, and you could then press a different button, item pictures, and see a different picture. It would then, for example, have a function button there to add it into the transaction. And this would be data from the item. And this representation here on the bottom, you can see, like Outlook showed you before, suggestions of items according to our software as a service recommend engine, LS recommend. So this is one of the options. And another option we could have is, for example, a compare, automatic compare in the system. And this is one of our suggestions or ideas of a process. And what you can see here is that you could say this is clienteling. Clienteling is to have environment to be able to show to the customer on a tablet, on a stationary POS, or on a device to assist them in the purchasing process. And of course you would like to have it in a look of a web page, because people know that, so they'll feel comfortable looking at your system, and it will automatically lead you forward. And these panels would then be part of the standard POS. So we're not creating a completely new interface, but panels that will fit within the existing POS. For example, here you can see you put a big panel to the right of the buttons in the Metro POS, or you could represent it to put a panel inside, in between the left buttons and the right buttons, which is would represent. So there's a lot of possibilities here, and we have a great belief in this. And this is just adding to the function, the flexibility and rich functionality of our existing POS, but giving it a new environment for partners and customers to customize and develop it even further, and giving us a new platform that is cloud-based, productive for the cloud, and fits very well. Currently, we are working on introducing this into the Windows POS solution, and then of course the Web POS solution will get that right afterwards. So this is something we're going to build in to our existing solution. Coming back to what our plans are. We plan to move over to LS Nav or the NAV version 2018, and having that ready for you January, February. At that time, we'll have a solution that we're going to build on for the next 2 years. So you will get new functionality for 2 years on the LS Nav 2018 platform. Then we will, in spring, take a copy of that over to Tenerife, or that's the name Microsoft uses for it. But we have decided that that platform will be called LS Nav 365. And this is a new breed of environment, and this is a cloud-based solution. Okay, I say cloud-based solution, but of course we will also offer it also on-premise. So this is the new generation, a new technology platform. So what we will offer going forward is LS Nav, current technology platform, proven, low risk for implementation, well known within our partner channel. It's a safe bet. Plus, if you do it in the right way of not touching or not changing a standard NAV code, an LS Nav standard code, but use event technology, it's a breeze to move then from LS Nav 2018 to LS Nav 365 in the future and get the benefit of a cloud solution. And 365 will be a cloud solution where you can have the POS online, and we will offer also the hybrid solution when you can have offline also. And of course, completely on-premise like you can today. So we think we have a very strong offering here for you to implement today. Just go to 2018 and then move up to 365 when you're ready. Or if you put your eyes on 365, go directly to 365. It does not really matter to us, and it should not matter to you, because what we are doing is that we'll have the same or comparable technology or functionality, sorry, in both solutions. So what we are going to be offering as a functionality 365 will be offered in 2018 also. So either flavor, it's up to you what fits you. It's the same solution, same offering going forward. Coming back a little bit to the topic of this webinar is that on the 2018 we will be supporting the Windows POS. A POS that we have been running now for, what, 10 years, more, 15 years. And of course the new Web POS, which is newest technology and a great option, especially utilizing older hardware or introducing new hardware that is independent of operating system, which is very good. And then on the Tenerife or the 365, we will only support Web POS. And the reason is that that's a cloud solution, and we believe we need a Web POS that is able to exist within the cloud solution going forward. So we have two solutions, both good ones. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.